When my wife and I decided to go pro, we came up against many objections from well-meaning people around us, especially in the ministry world. If your journey is anything like ours, you may have people reprimand you, like, who do you think you are? Or what do you think you're doing? Or what on earth would have you have the audacity to think you could charge so much money? We had to learn to let these opinions roll off our back and not let them get to us. How would you like to discover the freedom of no longer cowering to the expectations of those around you? You'll learn that much of their advice, even judgment, has more to do with how they've decided to live their lives than it has anything to do with you. You're stepping into a whole new world, one that has always lived inside you, but that the world just hasn't seen yet. And that's going to make some other people uncomfortable. So let's dive in. Welcome to Success Sundays with Harrison. I'm your host, Harrison Wilder. I'm a corporate strategist and entrepreneur with an executive MBA from the George Washington University. I've managed 2 multi-million-dollar companies, and I advise top-level executives from a variety of industries. In this show, you'll find practical insights that will help you succeed as a leader in today's business environment. If you're serious about developing your skills as an executive, this is the place for you. Enjoy today's episode. Going pro means doing what the Bible says in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 22, to put off the old self and put on the new self. In other words, you're going to put off who you thought you were and who other people told you that you were, but you were actually not. Going pro is surrendering to who you were always truly meant to be. Give yourself permission to decide what you're going to be and to speak that truth. But guess what? They won't call you it until you call yourself it. They won't call you a millionaire until you call yourself a millionaire. They won't call you a pro until you call yourself a pro. They won't call you a powerhouse speaker until you can call yourself, you guessed it, a powerhouse speaker. They won't call you Jack until you tell them who you are. I want to help you take off the labels and the lids that other people have put on you, all the limitations to what others say you are capable of. You and you alone are going to have to decide who you truly are. It's not so much about putting on a new identity, but more of a surrender to who you've always been meant to be. It's not so much putting on a mask, but more of a willingness to affirm something deep inside of you that you've been resisting. Affirmations can really help in this regard. You can say things in your own words like, I submit, I surrender, I'm a pro. The insecurity, the shyness, the way I've been presenting is not me, I'm a pro. The timidity, the fear, the low valuing of who I am and what I have to say is not me, I'm a pro. I've been made in the image of God. I have something valuable to offer the world. You know this to be true. You're sitting on top of something, some knowledge, some advice, some wisdom, some lessons that you've learned, and you're going to have to let that out. The world needs what you alone have to offer. Have you ever heard someone speak and the words shifted you to another level? That's how I felt when I first heard Bishop T.D. Jakes. He's one of the best communicators of our time, and he shared this message. T.D. Jakes said there are 2 kinds of people, giraffes and turtles. They occupy the same space, but they don't share the same worldview. They can be in the same geographical location, but the giraffes eat from the tops of the trees high up in the sky, while the turtles, they just move through the grass down there on the ground. Now, T.D. Jakes emphasizes that in life, you and I eat on the level of our vision. We operate in the same world, but we have very different viewpoints on it. Jakes uses a giraffe as a metaphor because it has a 25-pound heart that pumps blood up its 9-foot neck, allowing it to stay way up high. But if the giraffe lowers its head to the turtle's level, it'll actually lose consciousness and pass out. When you're built to be tall, you endanger your position if you lower your perspective. It's not that there is anything wrong with a turtle. Turtles aren't evil. They're simply giving an honest report from their own level. The turtle can't reach up. This is why you can't explain a giraffe decision to a turtle. Giraffes see the big picture while turtles get lost in the details. As a result, turtles tend to criticize the point of view of the giraffe because they just don't understand it. Their worldview is based on different premise. It's not their fault. They're simply reporting from the level of their vision. They might say, you can't do this because you failed at it before. At first glance, this might appear to be true, but as a giraffe, you know that your past failures are a springboard for your future successes. Turtles just don't see it that way. They don't understand that your past behavior doesn't determine who you really are. Your past behavior doesn't determine your future behavior. If you truly understand this, you won't let yourself be swayed by what turtles say. A turtle's poor understanding of a giraffe can imprison them and prevent them from becoming who they were meant to be. T.D. Jakes says that he's lost opportunities because he acquiesced to the murmurings of turtles. Have you been there? Have you ever lost time, maybe even years or decades, acquiescing to the murmurs of the turtles? I know that I have, but I had to affirm it. Loud and proud, my neck craned up to the top of the trees. I'm a giraffe. I'm different. And if you feel a little different, you may be a giraffe too. Accepting that you are a giraffe means accepting that your life is going to be different than other people's lives. Which brings me to the next point, to be willing to get uncomfortable. As a giraffe, you need to understand that at times things will be uncomfortable. To be honest, I don't think I've been comfortable since 2017. It's been stretching, but it's been nothing short of amazing. Now, let's try an exercise out. I want you to put your hands together so that your fingers are interlocked and notice where your thumbs naturally fall. Now, I want you to switch the position of your two thumbs like this. Take a second to notice how that feels, right? It feels weird. You probably want to switch them back to the original position. But you have to be willing to sit through the discomfort. Many people fail because of their unwillingness to be uncomfortable. So keep your thumbs in this strange position and sit with it and push through it. And when you decide to go pro, when you decide to think of yourself as a business, when you decide to sell your value proposition to someone for the first time, especially when you reach the point where you have to name your price out loud, how are you going to feel? If you're willing to sit through that discomfort, you'll see for yourself what separates the amateurs from the pros. Now think of all the things that might make you uncomfortable, like getting up and talking in front of people, getting loud with your message, marketing your offers to other people. Those are certainly things that made us uncomfortable when we started. But guess what? Any great reward you've experienced isn't that easy to achieve. Think back to all the times that you achieved something that you're proud of. Did it come easily? I bet it didn't. I bet you had some hard work that you put into it. I bet it was uncomfortable. And that's part of the reason why it was so rewarding. So ask yourself with an honest heart, are you willing to get a little uncomfortable? Don't get me wrong, I enjoy comfort. We all do. The Bible says, for the joy set before him, that Christ endured the cross. He faced the agonizing discomfort of painful death because he saw the joy of you and I finally free to live in God's original design for our lives. Well, what is the joy that is set before you? Is it no longer trading time for money? Being able to spend as much time as you want with your family, seeing the world, upgrading the lifestyle for you and your children? Let me ask you though, are you willing to get a little uncomfortable? Not everyone will tell you the truth, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. It's going to be uncomfortable stepping into the unleashed life. But aren't you tired of being so comfortable? Let me tell you what's more uncomfortable. Not fulfilling your potential. Going another day, another month, knowing that the reservoir of ability, talent, potential, and everything that you're called to bring to the world and not fulfilling that. That's uncomfortable. I'd rather be uncomfortable delivering the message I meant to deliver than being uncomfortable because I've let another day pass me by settling for less. It might get uncomfortable. It will be uncomfortable, but it will also feel good. I remember walking around the streets of Paris with our kids and my wife after flying first class, thinking how glad I was that we had been willing to be so uncomfortable. So stick around, do the work, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Here's a success challenge for this week. It's time to make a decision. One success principle that has served me well is to commit to the destination. You don't always know exactly how you're going to get there or which way to go, but that doesn't need to stop you from deciding where you're going. Too many people are tossed around in life with no focus and no destination in mind, but you can be different. You can decide right now that you are going pro. Decide to adapt the pro mindset, to see yourself as a business and to break free from the limited life experience that's been carved out for you inside of the world's system. In the following episodes, I'm going to lay out the exact path that has been responsible for so many people achieving their heart's desires. But it starts right here with a simple decision. Decide to go pro. Who's with me? Put your hand over your heart and say aloud, I'm going pro. If you have any questions for me that I might be able to help you with in a future episode, post them down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you and to create content that's super relevant for you. So put those comments down there. My team's going to tee them up for future episodes. And until then, have a great week. I'll see you in the next episode. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. You know, great businesses and great leaders are built using effective communication. For more, go to speakingschool.com, grab my Elite Business Success Toolkit for free just for trying out our Speaking School membership. That's speakingschool.com. See you next time.